With 2025 coming to a rapid close as we have less than 2 months remaining of this year, I thought it would be a great chance to look ahead at 2026 to essentially see what games are actually coming our way. It's pretty much certain that Xbox Game Pass is looking insanely strong next year, and there are so many games for us to try with such little time on our hands. So with that, my name is Fletcher, and this is Xbox Nation, and let's take a look at absolutely everything coming to Xbox Game Pass in 2026. First up, we have a couple of games with solid release dates for 2026 already, with one of which being MENACE. This is a turn-based tactical RPG that puts you in command of an elite strike force who must take out an alien threat. Basically, when distress calls start rolling in from different planets, you have to decide which to respond to and then engage. On the ground, you will have to train your own infantry, equip them, deploy tanks, and utilize hulking mechs to essentially eliminate all the hostile aliens in turn-based battles. This game does kind of give me a sort of XCOM cross command and conquer vibe, and I'm really looking forward to it. This one is currently slated for PC Game Pass only though, so I do anticipate a console release sometime down the line, but if you're interested, it comes to us in February 2026. I was a massive fan of the original High on Life, and I won't lie, I was so shocked to see that High on Life 2 got announced this year, and it's actually coming out in early 2026. Of course, like the previous game though, we will be joined by a beloved ragtag team of alien misfits as we shoot, stab and skate our way through weird alien worlds across the galaxy. Instead of aliens using humans for drugs like the previous game, the story now goes in a wacky new direction, and instead aliens are now using humans in zoos. The short looks that we've seen so far have given us a look at the brand new weapons and characters along with fan favourites, and that's alongside that signature humour we know and love. I can't wait, and I reckon this one will be another fan favourite release sometime in 2026. One of the games coming from Don't Nod next year is called Aphelion, and to be honest, I'm really bloody excited since seeing the new gameplay trailer a few weeks back now. In this one, it follows two astronauts who, under mysterious circumstances, crash land on an unexplored planet. As if that weren't bad enough, it actually turns out it's hosts of another life form that seem very hostile. As I mentioned, we did get a brand new look at the game a couple of weeks ago, and it gave us a new look at a brand new creature called the Nemesis, which is stalking both of the astronauts who essentially can't fight back. The gameplay will consist of the need to hide and move stealthily to avoid detection, and that's also alongside the platforming, exploration and survival elements which will also come into play. It looks great time and time again from when we've seen it, and although there is no fixed release date, I do reckon this might come to us in early 2026. A twist that nobody really expected at the Xbox showcase earlier this year was seeing Pokemon developer Game Freak actually announce Beastro Reincarnation, and compared to the usual sort of Pokemon games with their awful visuals, this one actually looks pretty incredible. This is a new action RPG that's set in a post-apocalyptic Japan, where essentially the world has been ultimately consumed by corruption and overtaken by some cool and pretty gross looking formidable beasts. We will then have to take control of the protagonist called Emma as she journeys through a dangerous ever-shifting world that does demand precision and mastery of your technical combat. It kind of gives me Monster Hunter sort of vibes, but it's also said to be part Souls-like, so hopefully it can be decent and really does stick that landing on its launch next year. If you've been waiting for a brand new game from Asobo Studios and Focus Entertainment, which expands the universe of A Plague Tale with an original story, then you're in luck next year. A Plague Tale Resonance arrives next year, and it's bringing with it a brand new action-adventure approach to this series. This new entry now invites us to dive into Sophia's past and journey with her into Minotaur's Island, where we must outsmart deadly foes and confront the creature at the heart of a devastating curse. We will be able to wield a sword in one hand and light in the other, and then plunge into the myth of Macula. It looks incredible with a bit more of a combat focus, which should certainly be interesting. We still yet to see any gameplay for this one, but it's safe to say we might see this towards the end of 2025. The highly anticipated Sledding Game is coming to Xbox Game Pass next year. The developer, known as the Sledding Corporation, confirmed that the game will be launching into the service on day one, and to be honest, it looks bloody hilarious. If you're unfamiliar, Sledding Game has really come on to be a bit of a viral hit over on social media, especially with sites like Instagram and TikTok, with loads of videos for this cozy title gathering millions upon millions of views. Basically, it's a multiplayer hangout game with proximity chat where you take control of a funky little guy and ultimately go sledding. It looks like a wicked time with your pals, and sometimes we do need these sort of cozy and funny sort of games to unwind after a hard day at work. Denshattack is an upcoming rail-riding action game that looks to fuse the stylish energy of games like Jet Set Radio, but with the combo-driven tricks of something like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, except you're carving through the city on a train. It's designed around speed and flow, and the game features more than 50 levels where you'll be able to grind your rails, drift along walls, leap across gaps, and unleash high-flying combos, which I never kind of expected with a train. Boss encounters do promise to raise the stakes though, pushing you to master every move, and the story looks to unfold in a futuristic Japan that's devastated by climate collapse. Honestly, Denshattack looks absolutely phenomenal and absolutely insane, and it launches sometime in 2026 and is looking pretty wild. I don't think anyone missed this announcement, but it has been confirmed we are getting a newish Halo game sometime within the next year. No, this one's not a brand new game, but it's a remake of Combat Evolved, and it's now called Halo Campaign Evolved. This is essentially a massive remake of the original with a huge graphical improvement, including UE5, and it's also looking to include many more quality of life improvements, like 3 new missions we've never seen before, co-op play for up to 4 players, and a few new weapons here and there. For me, I don't really know how to feel about this one, as I rather have just had a new Halo game, and the footage did look a bit rough around the edges. Package in no multiplayer, which is really strange, and I do feel it's just a bit lacking really. Still, if you do want more Halo, then this one arrives onto Xbox Game Pass sometime next year. Get ready to once again though become El Presidente, as Tropico 7 was revealed earlier this year, and this one is actually set to arrive on Game Pass next year as well. The newest installment looks to expand on the original city building sort of dictatorship formula, but with a more story driven campaign across 5 maps, plus 20 sandbox maps, extra scenarios, and even a random map generator for endless variety. You can also expect some fresh features, and it's looking like honestly the biggest Tropico we've ever seen. I really did love the Tropico games back on the 360, so I want to be hopeful for this brand new release. We've unfortunately seen no gameplay yet other than the reveal trailer, which I'm showing you on the screen, so I bet we might see some more gameplay towards the end of this year and into early 2026. An adorable looking multiplayer survival game known as Wildekin is coming in 2026, and it's looking quite enjoyable if you're a fan of this sort of genre. This one though sees you and up to 3 of your friends attempting to survive a cute yet deceptively harsh world. That means you need to build your home, forage for materials, help your town flourish, and ultimately face off against some fearsome foes. It all sounds like a wild adventure, and although it does have sort of the cutesy aesthetic, I bet this one's going to be an incredibly deep experience. I can't wait to personally experience it, and if you're a fan of games like Stardew Valley, then you might want to keep this one on your radar. Quite possibly, Forza Horizon 6 will ultimately be one of the most popular releases of the next year, as the franchise has now become one of the largest within the gaming industry. I do mention it actually time and time again, but I'm a massive Forza fan, and with me getting all of the achievements in every single entry, I can't wait to do the same when it comes to Japan. This is a location that so many of us fans have been asking for multiple years, and with Playground Games still at the helm, it's already going to be confirmed to be a banger. We've only had a short announcement snippet of the game so far without any gameplay, but I do fully expect we might see this game in action at the Game Awards or even during the Xbox Dev Direct this January. How are you feeling about Forza Horizon 6? Are you excited to jump into this one? You'll have to let me know in the comments below. After a few delays, it seems that Subnautica 2 is coming next year, and it's actually looking to up the ante for this entire franchise. We've already seen some gameplay for this one due to some developer sessions they actually hosted on their YouTube channel, and it's looking pretty solid from what I've seen so far. If you like me though, you probably can't wait to dive into this underwater world and just explore as much as possible. I love that we're getting some gorgeous new environments along with some insane looking new species of friendly and also not so friendly creatures, and even more additions when it comes to sort of the base building mechanics. This one though is scheduled again for 2026, but do please be wary because it could get pushed back again into 2027. Spiritfarer is still a game that is held in such high regard by many who have played it on Xbox Game Pass, and I have some great news as the devs over at Wishfully are now making a brand new IP, and it's called At Fate's End, and it will come to Xbox Game Pass next year. All we know currently is that this is a gorgeous game that will cast you as a young girl as she battles with her family members. World of Combat looks pretty fluid and fun from what we've seen so far. The interesting bit is that the skills that you use are also tied directly to your family members. I have no doubt this will be another incredible adventure like Spiritfarer, and again, I will update you closer to the game's launch sometime next year. Cooking, RPG combat, farming, river mechanics, and management simulator elements. Sign me right up right now. Beastro is coming to Xbox Game Pass, and it will also be an Xbox console exclusive. The game looks absolutely incredible in my opinion, combining a bunch of mechanics together that I really do love. You'll be playing as a fox named Panko though, cooking meals for your customers, whilst also maintaining the restaurant that you run. It looks as though you'll have to perform a variety of minigames as well, including one that looks similar to a rhythm game to make sure your food is cooked correctly for your paying customers. It kind of reminds me of games like Moonlighter, where you have to sort of manage your shop and then dive into the depths of dungeons, so if it's anything like that gameplay loop, I'm going to be so hooked on this one. We currently don't have an exact release date nailed down for Beastro other than 2026. Gears of War E-Day is the next mainline entry in the Gears of War universe, and this one's going to be set during the pivotal Emergence Day. 14 years before Gears of War, war heroes Marcus Phoenix and Dom Santiago essentially return home to face the new nightmare, and that's going to of course be the Locust Horde. These subterranean monsters, grotesque and relentless, will erupt from below, laying siege on humanity itself. Currently, we don't actually have a fixed release date for Gears of War E-Day or any gameplay that's been shown as of yet. However, it's highly rumoured and also was confirmed by Phil Spencer to be releasing within the year of 2026. I think this may be a return to those horror roots of the original Gears games, and I'm hoping it will be a smash hit when it comes out next year. It seems like Rematch will soon have some competition for next year. FreeStyle Football 2 is coming to Xbox Game Pass, I believe in Q2 of next year, offering a high-intensity 5 vs 5 co-op football experience. It is described by the publisher as a sort of co-op football game that looks to blend the speed and strategy of real football, but with some personality-driven gameplay, including sort of heroes. This game looks to be all about your teamwork, coordination, and tactical depth, with players also controlling a single character in online matches. Interestingly though, FreeStyle Football 2 has also been said to have a single-player story mode, which is about 10 to 20 hours long, which is great to see, and will actually delve deeper into each of the characters' backstories. While the game will offer a slight spin on Rematch with its characters and special abilities, it will be interesting to see how both games stack up against each other next year. Planet of Lana 2 has easily become one of my most anticipated indie games of 2026, and every new look we get at this game just looks utterly phenomenal. In the Xbox Indie, we will once again join Lana and her lovable companion named Mui on another adventure that will take them into the depths of Novo. As the pair will explore the depths this time though, a brand new threat will put their special bond to the test, and once again will force Lana to confront her destiny. The first Planet of Lana was such a cracking little puzzle platformer, and it really has gone down a storm when it came to Xbox Game Pass, and I recommend playing it if you can while it's still on the service. Still, the sequel is meant to be more of the same, but just improved in every single element, and it has me super hyped to finally get my hands on it. Replaced really shocked us when it was originally shown off a couple of years ago, with some of the best pixel art direction I've ever seen within the gaming sphere, and everything we have seen since is building even more hype for this stunning game. With its dark and gritty tone and exceptional looking level design, this is high really on my own personal list. Replace looks to combine cinematic platforming now with pixel art and free-flow combat, with a very deep and engaging dystopian story that's set in an alternative 1980s. The game has unfortunately had multiple delays, but the devs have stated this should be the final delay and it should come out next year. I can't wait to dive headfirst into the mysteries around Phoenix City when this arrives day one onto Xbox Game Pass. We haven't actually seen any gameplay at the time of this recording, and we've only had a rather short trailer, but Persona 4 Revival is officially real, and it will be coming to Xbox Game Pass day one at its launch. There is no release date as of yet, other than a window of 2026, and it seems really sparse with details across the board. Obviously though, this will be a remake of Persona 4 Golden, and it's going to be similar in vein to what we received with Persona 3 Reload, which is quite awesome to hear. Are you excited for this revival? Let me know down below. Bohemia Interactive announced their third major expansion for DayZ earlier this year, and it's called Badlands. Basically, players will be taken on a tour through the scorching heat of the Nasdara province, and it's looking way more intense than anything we've experienced before in this franchise. Well, in some great news over the past week as well, we now have the confirmation that Badlands will be launching onto Xbox Game Pass day one at its launch, which has actually got many fans really excited. It is also said to be the largest DayZ map they've ever made, with a ton of undead for us to sneak past, or ultimately just fight to the death. I was never the biggest fan of DayZ, and I kinda get a bit clueless with it, but I know the community for this one are incredibly hyped. Talking to things I'm incredibly hyped for, let's check out this next game. For me personally, this beloved franchise has to be my most anticipated game of next year, and with it being in the hands of Playground Games, I have total faith this will be an absolute masterclass. Fable is finally coming with all of its signature charm, humour and whimsical world building that we love and adore. I am totally expecting all of the outrageous characters, alongside the mystical setting for all of us to explore. From what we've seen in the alpha footage, which I'm showing you on screen, it looks pretty vibrant, full of the oddball characters, and the combat looks pretty excellent. This is shaping up to be the most immersive Fable experience we've seen yet, and like I said, I have some strong feelings this could be a Game of the Year candidate. I am beyond hyped for this one, and I wish the release date would just bloody hurry up by now. In a transition away from 2D to 3D, it was quite a bit of a surprise when I saw a new Super Meat Boy. It has actually been developed by a different developer though, called Slugify, and they're taking Team Meat's indie darling into the third dimension for the very first time. Of course, Super Meat Boy 3D is exactly what you love about the series, that being a challenging platformer where you guide a cube of meat on a mission to rescue his bandaged-maid girlfriend from a villainous fetus in a jar. From wall jumping through buzzsaws, collapsing caves and dying countless times along the way, it does look pretty great, to be honest. There seems to be a lot of old school charm here as well, alongside the fast-paced gameplay, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how the devs transition this franchise for the very first time. TCG Card Shop Simulator is one of 2025's highest rated simulation games and actually has overwhelmingly positive reviews over on Steam and has now been added to the Xbox Gamepass lineup for next year. Although it's still in early access over on Steam, the game does appear to be gearing up for its full release in 2026. As some of you may know, the game's core mechanics are centered around building and expanding a trading card shop empire. I know simulation games are incredibly popular these days, and this is yet another to add to the expanded list. I know this one though is one of the most popular out there, and it's great to see it come to Xbox Game Pass next year. Weird is one of those words that I do try to avoid when it comes to video games, as we have some of the most unique experiences within the genre when it comes to saying that word. Ultimately though, that's the best way to describe the supernatural hotel renovator called There Are No Ghosts at the Grand, as it really stood out to me when it got revealed early this year. This narrative-driven adventure actually follows a man called Chris David, who inherits a dilapidated seaside hotel from his late father. His goal here is to essentially renovate the hotel in 30 days and nights using 7 somewhat magical power tools. From the different trailers and some previews that I've seen, we've been given a glimpse of the different tools at our disposal, such as sandblasters, furniture cannons, and so much more. It may look like a bit of house flipper or power wash simulator at your first glance, but that's not exactly the full picture here. I absolutely dig these insane ideas, and this is one to put on the radar for 2026. We do of course though have a couple of other games that are potential releases for 2026, and those being the likes of State of Decay 3 and Clockwork Revolution. Unfortunately, both of them don't have any confirmed windows as per every other game on this list, but they are heavily rumoured for next year. Of course, we have seen loads of gameplay when it's coming to Clockwork Revolution, so its release date does seem closer than we expect, but then again, Xbox could want to hold it back to 2027, as we are seeing many first-party games for next year. As for State of Decay 3, I do find it a bit more concerning, as we still haven't seen much gameplay, but I do hope we might see more at the Dev Direct this January. What do you think personally about these two games though? Do let me know if you think they're going to come out in 2026 in the comments below. I won't lie as well, we have a few more games that are listed as to be decided or to be announced at the time of this recording, and even though I could chuck them into this list today, I don't want to provide you with any false sense of hope or any misinformation. What I've done though is I've chucked the list on screen for you now, which shows the games we could see next year, and I do fully expect we might see some on the service rather soon. For me, I really do hope we see the release of Manor on console rather soon, as it is one of my favourite PC Game Pass games that I've ever played. We do have the likes of the next Call of Duty coming, but ultimately we don't know any other details before the end of 2025, and possibly we won't hear anything about it towards mid-2026. Are there any other games you do want to see added to Xbox Game Pass though? Do let me know down below. Remember to also smash that like button if you enjoyed, and if you want to keep in the know with all things Xbox, especially as 2026 is going to be bloody huge, then hit that subscribe button down below. If you do want to see some more awesome Xbox content though, why don't you check out the video on screen now. I recently covered all of the huge sales which have been going on in the Xbox store, and there's a few games you want to pick up right away.